We're going to go to Brussels right now to get the latest, where the U.S. just struck a deal to provide more natural gas to Europe. Kayla Tausche is there live this morning. Good morning, Kayla.
Good morning, Andrew. We're getting a little bit more detail on that deal that's part of a larger effort to reduce the dependency of Europe on Russian natural gas and further isolate Russia's economy as the war in Ukraine continues. Under the deal announced today, Europe will be getting an additional 15 billion cubic meters of gas from the U.S. and other countries, and 50 billion cubic meters from the U.S. before 2030. The EU will be upgrading its import terminals to receive these cargoes, but senior administration officials could not specify which countries were providing exactly how much. The IEA says Europe used 155 BCM of Russian gas in 2021. That was triple what it used in just 2019. Now, this pledge would require an increase in fossil fuel production in the U.S. for the next decade, seemingly in conflict with the administration's broader climate goals. Here's how President Biden acknowledged that when he announced the deal with the European Commission president last hour.
The United States and the European Union are going to work together to take concrete measures to reduce dependence on natural gas, period, and to maximize the availability and use of renewable energy.
They say long term, they're trying to keep European energy demand stable. Yesterday, during a trio of emergency summits, President Biden called for Russia to be ejected from the G20 group of the largest economies. He warned Putin that chemical weapons would be met with a NATO response and suggested Western allies would keep sanctions in place for more than a year in order to get President Putin to reverse course. The G7 is also cutting off Russia's access to its reserves that it is storing in gold, estimated to be worth more than $100 billion, for fear that Russia would use that to prop up the ruble and keep funding the war. Andrew?
Kayla, we're going to be talking to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen in just a little bit here in Washington about all of this. In terms of those pledges that are being made, do we know if there are other back-channel conversations with oil companies and others in the United States or in Europe about how they're going to reach those pledges?
Well, certainly those conversations have been going on for several months once the U.S. Realized that Russian troops were being built up at Ukraine's border. Senior administration officials say that there have, in fact, been many cargoes that were diverted from Asia, supplies that were negotiated among allies to be rerouted to Europe and that were replacing some of the Russian gas and also helping to build up reserves to get Europe through the winter in case Russia decided to weaponize its energy. Now, it's not even near the amount that's needed to actually keep the lights on this continent. So that's why it's going to take the better part of a decade to get there. That's why you hear countries like Germany, Austria, Czechia saying that they simply cannot cut Russia off. It will take time to get there, but certainly there are a lot of allies working behind the scenes to get it done. Andrew?
Kayla Tausche in Brussels this morning.